Alright, we are live. Stream settings saved because Streamlabs is dumb sometimes. Alright, day 5. Day 5. Hello, Skellark. So, I got another free day, so I'm just gonna play through a bunch of Super Circuit, I think. Because Super Circuit's really the one holding us back right now. Hello, hello, hello again. Oh, alright. Oh, goddamn buttons are backwards. It always fucks with me. With this game in particular, because so remember, I'm using a PlayStation controller to play this, because it's just the best controller I have currently that can play these older games decently well. So, we're actually pretty good on progress on this one. I've got gold on everything. I've practiced the shit out of this game, and I've even got silver on Special Cup. So, this is not that absurd of a challenge. We're almost done with Super Circuit, effectively. I want to do a big, like, reaction marathon to a lot of the game theories and stuff. For the recent stuff. This is going to be one of those, like, I just need to regain kind of sentience, if that makes sense, in Mario Kart terms, because it takes so much muscle memory for these nonsensical courses. I'm trying to remember what's insane and dumb. That's what's insane about dumb of this one. I was trying to remember if this was the one I was thinking of. It was. Okay, how do I just slow down on that one? Okay. Which one is this? This is Super Circuit, the Game Boy Advance one. This is technically Mario Kart 3. It goes Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, Super Mario Kart is the name of that one. Then it's Mario Kart 64, because I guess they decided they didn't need to put Super in the title because it didn't make sense. And in this era of the 2D games, which these are the first game and this game are the only two truly 2D Mario Karts. They use like advanced visual effects called Mode 7 to achieve. Why did I do that? Oh, this one is brutal. It disguises how brutal it is by being a little closer to Mario 64's gameplay loop. But don't get me wrong, this one still loves, like, we're not even, okay, it may look like I'm on the final course of the game, and you're like, oh, it's a Game Boy Advance game. How much content can truly be in this game? I'm only halfway through this game, technically. There's all of the retro courses in this game for the first ever Mario Kart. They just put every single course from that game in this one. Because they're psychopaths. And they want to see me suffer. Now, technically, I think I actually can move on to Double Dash by this point. Based on the rules I've outlined for this series. But I also want to get this game out of the way because it's so difficult and I want to finish it while I'm still decent at it. Because this one you actually can kind of get better at. You can't... The 64, even though I don't dislike 64, is one of those games where it feels like you reach a skill point with it, and if you're not a speedrunner, that's kind of it. Saying the MCI happened. What do you think about people recently saying the MCI happened before Charlie died? I mean, I made a video on that a while ago called Omni MCI, where my idea of how that would hypothetically work is that Charlie is killed on William's way out of killing the missing kids. This is how I would do an MCI first storyline. or an MCI before Charlie storyline, I should say. Um, I find it borderline impossible to say that an MCI first timeline is possible, as in truly those kids die the first ever night. God, why am I doing so bad right now? Yeah, I haven't seen FNAF's Midnight Motors video. I'm talking on the concept in general, just like that notion in the first place. I don't think the MCI kids can die first right now, period. And I mainly say that because everything we know about the early Freddy's suggests that the MCI is what gets it closed. And I have a hard time believing it closes before Fredbear's, based on how FNAF 2 talked about it. Because FNAF 2 says it's been like left to rot for a while, but implies they're directly coming off of that Freddy's. Whereas when he talks about Fredbear's Family Diner, he's like, I doubt we can track anyone down. That place has been, like, I don't know, man. He's, like, sketchy about it. It's like they barely even remember Fredbear's in that game. And in the week before, that's corroborated, where he's like, wow, that takes me back. And also, the Fredbear's group are called the Classic Suits in FNAF 3. Hi, Jaxalotl. Yeah. And it's not even just like a Will stuff, puppet stuff difference, in my opinion. It's more just a, like... Because, you know, obviously if the missing kids died years before Charlie, if that was where we were going, which I have a hard time believing that particular timeline, if we're saying it's like, or the year before Charlie, I have a hard time believing that one. Because I can see the argument, like I said, of William is already committed to killing. Okay. Game. And then on his way out kills Charlie. That makes a weird amount of sense to me. Even if I don't think it's what's happening, I can see that timeline very easily. You know, because that could play in Midnight Motorist, that could play into... In particular with Midnight Motorist and Security Puppet, that would mean all 3 secret minigames in FNAF 6 are telling the same event from different time points and perspective. So, like, that the order would be Fruity Maze, Security Puppet, then Midnight Motorist. If that's part of what makes that interesting to me. It creates this really interesting, like, internal energy between the missing kids and Charlie, where it's like, no, they truly are all connected to that one event. You know, and you know, William being drunk and maybe hitting Susie's dog, and would explain why she's like willing to believe he's still alive, maybe because it just happened, and why she's upset. It might even explain why she's at, like, an arcade machine is the flavor of it. If she was at an arcade machine, then her dog runs off because it's outside her birthday party, which is implied by the week before to be her birthday is the MCI's date. Once again, I'm kind of warming up. This is not like a serious, like, me running for first kind of playthrough. I'm trying to get back used to the controls of this game because it always resets a little bit for me. I'm dumb. And that would also mean if Michael was the runaway, which, you know, if we're having the MCI after Fredbear's Family Diner closes, or... I mean, okay, to be clear, I think if you're doing the MCI early, then you kind of also... It would make sense to have Charlie die at Freddy's. Like, if we're saying it already exists early on, or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah, it's a practice run. Yeah, and you do need all 3 of those endings to get the Lore Keeper ending. So what I pitched in Omni MCI, which was a whole separate video that was talking about the Help Wanted 2 order, was... The order of events is Susie's dog dies. William uses that as bait to lure her to the back room along with her friends for her birthday. That's the MCI, Or we didn't know it was her birthday yet because the week before didn't come out, but I'm adding that in kind of post. Goddamn coins. Give me fucking coins. I need coins because that's basically the health meter in this game. It's the dumbest utilization of coins in my opinion. I think coins are fine as like a 1% stat increase that you get rewarded, and then there's like missions tied to them. I think the fact that these early games tried to make them super important when they're like, this isn't Sonic the goddamn Hedgehog, It's like, the coins have always been a bonus in the Mario games. It's kind of weird to tie so many mechanics to it, to the point where so if you don't know, if you're out of coins in this game, and you get hit, you spin out entirely. Just anytime you're hit or bumped while you have no coins, you spin out. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So the MCI get killed, and then they're all left in the back room. Maybe stuff that kind of is one of those that doesn't super matter in this context. What matters is they're dead, and that this night they will end up possessing the kids. Then on William's way out, he kills Charlie, right? And that leads to Security Puppet as we see it. It might even be where the other... No, I was about to say that might even be where the other kids are running off in that sequence, but that William would have to teleport for that to be possible. It doesn't make sense. Especially since he's in his car, that just wouldn't work. But let's just say that's like what's going on. But actually, well, you know what that would explain? Is that would explain where the other kids in the building are when the MCI are being lured. Like, if they were all picking on Charlie up front, and while the MCI kids were being, like, lured, and then they end up throwing her out, and then William quickly leaves after committing the murder, or something like that, that does work. That would kind of explain why no one noticed, because they were occupied with Charlie, basically. And also, it would explain where the employees are, is because they're fucking dealing with the kids up front. That's what we saw in Give Cake. Which I know, that's... We don't know if that's actually an employee in her costume or whatever the fuck, but it's possible. But like I said, if I'm just playing by the rule, like the assumption there, that's how I do it. And then you have Midnight Motorist, which I would still have be Michael in this instance, and I would say this is him, following the bite. Maybe he goes to Freddy's as like a comfort place. I don't know. Maybe it's where his friends are. I don't know. It's possible. Like, all of his friends wear Freddy's masks, and Jeremy, Bonnie Bully, is kind of confirmed to still be a Freddy's fan after the fact. So if even one of his, if he's even just friends with Jeremy, Bonnie Bully, whatever the fuck, from Help Wanted and Help Wanted 2, which is a whole other point I'm going to get into in some video at some point, that I don't even think she's made a video on this, but I'm pretty sure ID genuinely fucking solved Jeremy just backhandedly in, or not as in Jeremy Fitzgerald, but Jeremy and what the deal with Help Wanted is. In I think it was T-Drez's Mega, theory stream. It was, a really good explanation of the clues and evidence, and I think that there's a lot of potential to it, and it feels like a real story that's intended. And it even kind of might even explain a little bit why the Bonnie Bully was picked to be, the returning character. There's some cool stuff to it. There's a motif. But that's a whole separate topic. Let's just say, for the intents and purposes, Mike's running to Freddy's. And there's a whole other theory I'm toying with that's been on my mind. But let's just say that's the case. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm really terrible on this current attempt. Holy shit. Yeah. But that's a whole separate topic. let's keep it out, like, if that was the order of an MCI first, not, or first, or maybe near first, or before Charlie timeline, that's how I think I would do it. I think what would be dumb to consider is the idea of a pre-bite victim thing, because that just does not make sense to me. Because you're clinging to a few specific dialogue lines, which I don't think really, you know, say what they need to say. Because, you know, there's a difference between rumors and the game proving something to be reality, because it feels like the game is saying the opposite, you know? It feels like the whole point is the bite victim isn't seeing what he thinks he sees. That he is scared of something that may not even be real as we think of it. And I feel like it would be really weird for that one specific rumor or thing he thinks he's afraid of to be real, but not. Okay, so this one's weird. The drift in this game in particular is strange because it's slightly different than the first game's drift, which is also really weird and stupid. So you're going to want to look at... The reason I have that NES controller in the bottom right is mainly to show the D-pad inputs. So when you drift in this game, you have to press the opposite direction to cancel the momentum. In the first game, you can also do a second hop like this to cancel momentum, and it kind of works in this game, but not well. And you can be completely stranded because of this course being dumb. See, I can cancel the momentum enough to kind of pull it off. Whatever. Yeah, and the weird thing is it's possible for Charlie to possess the puppet before the missing kids do if we were doing a puppet stuff thing, if we did them all in one night. But anyway, that's a whole other point. In the general topic, I do stand by, like, that missing kids die a little later. But there's something I've been toying with in my head that it's somewhat inspired by the week before, but it's more of a general idea that's been on my mind because it's a really funky implication to consider. Is what we call Golden Freddy Cassidy, or is it some other force? I'm not saying does Cassidy possess Golden Freddy or not. I think that's borderline, maybe not confirmed in the literal sense, as in stated information corroborates that, but I think is confirmed in the way that what the fuck else, you know? Without having Cassidy not be the fifth missing kid, which is the only theory where I think gets away from that idea. Like, how do you? But what I mean is Golden Freddy as we think of it, are those actions, is that behavior Cassidy, or is that something else? And I don't mean the bite victim either, or kind of. So, we know it's possible for agony-infected objects to kind of get their own personality and do whatever the fuck they want. And is it possible that between Cassidy's death and the bite, Golden Freddy is so fucked up trauma-wise, there's so much suffering imbued in that suit, that what we think of as Golden Freddy, the teleporting ghost bear that jump scares us and, like, wipes people out, and that, like, Ralph is borderline doomed by in several endings in the week before, because it's fucking weird in those endings. So in other words, that Golden Freddy, what we think of as this supernatural force, is that what is that the agony in the suit, or is that Cassidy? Is basically the question I'm wondering to myself. Like, are those... Or are those the same thing? Is Cassidy influenced by those emotions? You know, it's an idea that's crossed my mind, because Golden Freddy is objectively... If we try to treat Cassidy and Golden Freddy as the same character, Golden Freddy is a weird, scary bastard, which implicitly implies, god damn it, Cassidy is also a weird, scary bastard. You know? So the question I have is just like, is that... You know, is that the intended characterization of Cassidy, or is that the intended characterization of Golden Freddy? And the other part I can add to that is, you know, there's the Golden Freddy that we see in short stories like, whatchamacallit, what's the actual name of the short story? New Kid. New Kid. I was going to say the Kelsey story, but I'm like, but that's not really specific. I mean, it is. I don't think there's another Kelsey in Fazbear Frights. But, I was just struggling to remember the name of the story. But I explained why Golden Freddy's weird there, and it would explain how Golden Freddy can appear in Into the Pits game version. And to me, that it's one of those, I can't make a video on that because there's the proof kind of ends with what I just talked about. You know, like there's not enough elaboration on agony in the prior context of the timeline prior to Andrew's storyline to really, god damn it, are you kidding me? To really prove that's the case. But it would explain a lot of Golden Freddy's weird behaviors, and it could explain how Golden Freddy might be able to exist beyond Cassidy. Like, yeah, Cassidy can move on just fine, but Golden Freddy is something else entirely. It is some other force, some other monster. And then the other idea I thought of that would be really funky, and this would be a super, like, literal interpretation of give life, is that Cassidy never possessed anything. Cassidy is just this spirit that exists. So what we see in Follow Me, that is literally what Cassidy is right now, just a ghost that can go anywhere. And what we think of as Golden Freddy is not Cassidy, but instead that agony monster I was talking about. And that would be the further push of that theory, and that would explain why Cassidy maybe has no mask in Happiest Day, if we did Happiest Day Receiver. It might explain, if in Bite Victim Receiver, why Cassidy is just like a face in the void, if that was Cassidy, etc. Like, there's a few things you can do with that. But once again, I can't make a video on that because there's not a lot to that idea beyond just the what if there, you know? Once I say that, that's kind of it. That would be the video. Maybe I could make like a collection video, kind of like the retcon issue videos I did, or the Misconceptions volumes. I've really wanted to do a Misconceptions Volume 3, but I haven't had enough strong ones where I'm like... Because I want the Misconceptions to be, even if they're not like super confirmed concepts, to be things where it's like most people would agree this is probably not what the popular idea is. Oh, I won first place on this one. Yeah, so in this context, Golden Freddy would be this kind of, not abstract, this agony-infested costume lashing out. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be that extreme. You know, it could just be that Cassidy does possess Golden Freddy and is Golden Freddy, but the violence of Cassidy, the destruction that Golden Freddy brings, and the kind of insanity it inflicts on people, because that's the weird thing about Golden Freddy is, like, it's not presented as a normal animatronic in that it stuffs you or whatever. The endings with Golden Freddy in the week before are like weird, surreal, like almost torture scenes, like psychologically, not Saw Bear Trap, but like it really gets to Ralph in those scenes. And that's weird for a kid who has kind of no stakes in this game, you know? It'd be funny if the two courses I ace are Bowser's Castle and Rainbow Road. I'll focus on the fundamentals. Focus on the fundamentals. That's the other thing that I think gets me sometimes in this game. Is I play really wanting to be like better than the whatever the CPU is. And I'm trying to like outpace them like a normal Mario Kart, but in a lot of these games it's not about beating the CPUs, it's about being consistent and not fucking up. Because in this, unlike the first game you have to be better than the CPUs. This game, you can just kind of play consistently sometimes, and sometimes still win or get a high seed. Because the CPUs can fuck up in this game. God damn it. God damn it. Whatever. About the week before. I'm confused by that question. I have bought the week before. Should I? Are you saying you haven't, and should you? I would say it's worth it. I think it's maybe the best FNAF book. Because it's not just because like I really like the writing of it, because I do, but it's also, I think it does the best job connecting itself to everything. It feels like a story you want to know, you know? So a lot of the Fazbear Fright stories, I think, suffer from why do I care about this topic and story? You know, like what do I get out of seeing this? You know, like what does this get me? And sometimes they have that, sometimes they don't. But the week before, it's like, I want to know what Ralph's deal was. You know, I want to know more about Phone Guy, because he's an interesting character, and he's, like, a fun character. He's your guide, and it's kind of cool to see how he went out. And, like, what they add to him is good. So, I would say if you like Phone Guy, and you like just, like, the general knowledge of FNAF, without being, like, super big, like, it's not going to solve everything. It's one of those books that's, like, it's almost more of a confirmation book rather than a new information book. It's not like, you know, you're not going to get Mimic lore in the week before, really. God damn it. The one thing I don't like about the ramps on this course, I think it's a cool, like, compromise and all that. God damn it. But do you think they're removing characters as a bad way to theorize? I think so. I think the FNAF community has gotten away with a lot of bad behaviors for years because the story was at its... Even though we theorized it was convoluted and all that, and there is some complicated ways it's explained, I think we've gotten away with, like I said, a lot of bad behaviors because the story was simple and forgiving enough to get away with that. But now I feel like the FNAF lore expects you to pay attention more than it used to. Because you could get the gist of FNAF 1 as like, oh, these are robots haunted by kids pretty quickly. Like, you could just watch one video, the evidence was pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't mean it always was presented that way, but the concept was always there, yeah. And FNAF 2, it's like, oh, someone killed kids in another suit at a prior location, it's actually a prequel, yada yada, we get that idea. Puppet has some connection to the kids. You know, at the time, it was pretty universally considered that Charlie stuffed the kids. But that that was more of a hindsight thing. That became more difficult later to agree on. And, you know, FNAF 3 still was pretty simple. Like, you could get away with the general concept and not be that confused. It was a lot of the nitty-gritty that 3 didn't really explain. That 3 was more subtle on. But then you start getting the FNAF 4, where I think Scott really expected us to really pay attention and lock in. And I don't think we quite did at the time. I think that was when the FNAF fans developed this real ability to, like, kind of just disable evidence when it was convenient. And what I mean by that is stuff like the phone guy call existing in the first place was passed off as just an Easter egg. That entire Easter egg was basically just removed from the equation, and then when people did acknowledge it, it became dream theory. No one took it at the face value of, well, for our character to hear phone guy, it would have to mean we're around the time phone guy said the stuff. Like, it was so weirdly obvious nowadays to consider, but for some fucking reason that never clicked. And I'm not even sure that's a FNAF fan fault thing, but it was a habit we developed where, like, if something was the general consensus, it became really easy to be stuck like that. It's part of why, and I know this is somewhat controversial, I think weird what-if theories are a good thing. Is sometimes certain information is taken so for granted that it's hard to get a new idea done. You know, like, there are plenty of good new ideas that are not being added into that are not being considered or weighted in, because that's not part of the conceived notion. And not to be like oh, the novels are the worst thing in FNAF, because they're not. And I sometimes sound like that, I think, in my videos. But I think the novels kind of fucked over theorizing for a long time, because they were not made to be theorized at first, if ever. I'm actually kind of on the fence about, like, were they ever even meant to be theorized, because it's all... There's only one source for the whole idea of theorizing with the novels, and it's the Ultimate Guide. That is the only thing that has ever said you can theorize with the novels in mind. Scott himself, in no Reddit post, no Steam post, or anything, has ever said the novels were a valid source of information. But they were treated as such because of MatPat's whole, like, oh, he cracked William's name early because of the novels, because they had that in common. And that goes into what Scott said around the novels, where it's like, yes, inevitably there will be things that overlap between the two. That's because they're adapting the same series. You know, it's like being like, holy shit, we were able to predict that Spider-Man is Peter Parker in the MCU. It's like, no, it's not fucking not, obviously. Think about all the shit that doesn't overlap, though. Actually, to be honest, the MCU changes so many things, I wouldn't be surprised if Peter Parker wasn't Spider-Man if they started with, like, Miles or Miguel or some shit. That feels like a very MCU thing to do out of nowhere. But maybe that's back up. Maybe Andrew Garfield's, I think it would be the better example. Like, hearing Amazing Spider-Man announced and being like, who will be Peter Parker? You know, whatchamacallit. Anyway, whatever, that's a random example, but I feel like the novels really develop this habit of just finding a statement from a book and then running with it and making that the lore. And then that didn't, and this is, but that also set a precedent where, like, when we did get a book series intended to be theorized with, we had a wrong mentality going into it, what it was used for. as the default, like, popular consensus. And that, you know, that kind of fucks with things. Yeah, and context is the other thing that really fucked over, I think, the novels for theorizing, is there's a lot of stuff that exists only in one specific context. And those are things that are not easy to compare to the games. My go-to, because this is, in my opinion, the weirdest example that's actually theorized about. Because I will say a lot of the deep novel fans and theorists who try to use the novels for the games are pretty good about keeping the spirit and context of things nowadays. But the one thing where I'm like, I'm shocked that you could be like, oh, this is trying to say this earnestly without acknowledging what's weird about it, is Elizabeth's death. Yes, out of context, Elizabeth dies before the missing kids in the novels. However, I would argue not almost everything in her identity has changed, except for herself, basically. If that makes sense. I worded that very poorly. What I mean is, almost everything to her origin, aside from a robot lady who eventually becomes baby, kills her because she gets too close. The mindset of why she goes to confront baby is different. The context of why Charlie Bot 4 is made is different on so many absurd levels. The timing and location of it all is different, and yet that's taken as, oh well, it's Elizabeth's death, therefore. And you might say, like, well, none of the other kids die in different spots, but that's because there's not really other spots for them to die in. It's like, you can't have dead kids at Freddy's without them dying at Freddy's, you know? And you can't have an origin story where Charlie dies without... And especially if you want to do that as, like, the reason Henry goes off the wall. If it doesn't happen at some point or early on... But Elizabeth is weird, because you can fuck with the details some. Because she's kind of an isolated incident. And it becomes especially confusing when later on, Circus Baby's Pizza World will come to exist way after Freddy's. Which, if we went by the logic of, like, oh, these events loosely parallel events from the games, and we can use event order to, like, more or less put together a story, then shouldn't the implication be that William makes Circus Baby's Pizza World after discovering Remnant? And therefore, like, later in the timeline? Or are we arguing he already understood Remnant before the missing kids died? If so, how? Because that's my problem with the whole, like, oh, Elizabeth dies early in the novels, therefore claim. Because, yeah, sure, if that was all there was to it, and Circus Baby's Pizza World just opened like a year later and they just wanted to connect her to the Charlie Bot plotline, so they fudged that detail a little bit, I think I would be a little bit more fine with that connection. But the problem is those two things contradict each other. William can't make the location Game Elizabeth dies at because with information specifically in mind about Freddy's being closed and Remnant tied to the missing kids Remnant specifically in that plotline. And also discover the missing, like, kill the missing kids because of Elizabeth's death. I'm not going to say all of the books are confusing. I think some of them are pointless, but I think the novels in particular muddy people's judgment on things a bit because they want to make a point and the novels happen to have that point once. And that's why I think the problem with, like, the novels is whenever you get enough continuities of something, you get a lot of weird one-off instances caused by certain writers' ideas or something they wanted to do. Like, for example, like, I don't know why I'm using Marvel a lot, but I guess that's one thing that has a lot of continuities. Okay, here's not a Marvel. Green Lantern is not usually able to time travel.
However, sometimes he can, and that's sometimes just treated as a thing he can do. I may or may not be talking about the Ben 10 death battle, and that's kind of an unrelated thing, but it's another thing where people are discussing fictional media, so that's my comparison there. He did that once. Is that a power Green Lantern has usually? No. But it was a thing done in one book ages ago, so it counts. And the more continuities you get the more instances like that, where for whatever story a writer wanted to tell, they had to do certain elements. And then sometimes those are treated as the norm when they are usually not. And I have a feeling the novels were like that, where they had a story they wanted to tell, and regardless of how good or bad you think that story is, it clearly has differences in very obvious places that do not linearly transfer over to the games. You cannot just force fit elements of those stories without acknowledging the differences they come from. So, for example, like, a lot of people use the Molten Amalgam to support Molten MCI, and I don't think that's a bad claim itself. I think that's actually a decently solid one because more or less the concepts overlap. It's a similar idea. It fits a lot of the context implied by the games as well. What I find weird is they try to make it, like, uber literal sometimes. And I'm having a little trouble explaining this because I'm playing this fucking bullshit Mario Kart game that's nearly impossible and I'm not doing well in it. But, there's a lot of elements that just, like, don't connect to it. There's no Charlie there, like, for that. And then, okay, whatever, I'm gonna shut up. No one's taking what I'm saying seriously at this point. At this point, I just try to theorize without novels. I guess that's what I'm going at, because there's so many differences that could be created by the Charlie Bot plotline alone. Oh yeah, death battles. The only death battle where I'm like, the rationale behind this character winning, even if it's controversial, I kind of get. It was the death battle with Shadow and Mewtwo, because I do think the argument of what is stopping Mewtwo from just wiping Shadow's memory and completely taking advantage of the fact that Shadow wouldn't know what to do and be constantly confused. I think that's actually a kind of a reasonable argument. The question is, can Mewtwo keep him stunned long enough to kill him? A. Can he just wipe Shadow's mind before Shadow kills him? B. And C. I don't know. What the fuck? Like, can Mewtwo kill Shadow? Physically? Like, I guess that's what I'm saying. Shadow's... I know Sonic Adventure had the fake-out death, but, like... Has Mewtwo ever done anything in a vacuum that itself is as impressive as the things Shadow has survived alone? And I'm not talking Super Shadow, I just mean Shadow. The guy has fallen from orbit, and, like, I mean, he made it through so many games in base form, canonically. I think the only thing I can think of where Shadow, that was proven as a thing Shadow could not handle as his own, was the Metal Virus. And I'm specifically talking about Shadow at the time of that video. I think Shadow, if they had made that death battle over again, Shadow's gotten enough stuff in hindsight. Actually, the Metal Virus didn't exist yet, so that doesn't really count. But, whatever. I think the argument that Mewtwo could wipe Shadow's memory is valid, and I think that could give Mewtwo some win cons, is what I'm saying.
Would he be able to, though, in time? It is more the question that I think they completely glossed over. Um, oh yeah, I mean, scaling characters correctly is a whole complicated matter. There's a character I have planned for a project called Plate Chronicles, which was actually meant to be the prior to... It was meant to be the original webcomic I was working on. It would have been that comic, and then that would have... So what's weird is Neon Dynamo was originally called Project RUST, and was supposed to be a spin-off of Plate Chronicles, and was more of a way to explore... So the universes in Neon Dynamo and Plate Chronicles lore are named after materials, or just random words, because there's a million of them. So they just started picking random fucking names, and they didn't want to have serial numbers, basically, because that would get confusing. So the universes are Platinum A and Platinum B, respectively, with Neon Dynamo occupying Platinum B, and Plate Chronicles being set in Platinum A. So the idea of Project RUST was, oh, this is an excuse to explore Platinum B, because we only get to see it for moments at a time in Plate Chronicles, which is more of a cosmos hopping, universe switching adventure. It was going to be a mini-series just exploring this world with a self-contained story to see what was going on in this world's Earth and all that, and what was going on with its superhumans and all that. And I just realized I had more of an idea of what Project RUST was than I did Plate Chronicles. Because I knew a lot of the characters, I knew a lot of their abilities, I knew a lot of individual story beats I wanted to do with Plate Chronicles. I didn't have the story itself really in mind, though. With RUST, and eventually Neon Dynamo, when I refined the name to that, when I came up with a name, The Neon Dynamo, I ended up going with that, because I'm like, okay, the story is pretty obvious here. It ended up getting 6 more arcs than I intended to, but whatever. And doesn't really resemble the original premise, but it was enough that I could feel out and work on it believably. I'm like, I know what I'm setting up here, I know where I'm going. But, in why I bring this up with power scaling is the entire gag of the main character of Plate Chronicles is he's a ridiculously annoying character to conceive of in combat scenarios. To the point, so the premise of Plate Chronicles, more or less, is that the main character, nicknamed Gold Plate, actual name Jason Bazell, has basically 100%ed the adventures of his universe, or of his world Platinum A, Earth Platinum A, and all that, including pocket dimensions, realities, stuff like the underworld and all that. So he's basically a 100% character who a reality hopping god who ends up going by the name Platinum Plate to make fun of him is like, that's funny and interesting. Let's work with that. I think I can help you by giving you basically the life DLC of giving you access to any universe to adventure in you want, and I'll just film it. This will just be entertainment for other reality hopping gods like me. And the whole bit is, he's like 100% character going on these adventures, but the worlds are still scaled with their own rationale in mind. So he's like this impossibly frustrating guy to consider concept-wise, because he's done fucking everything. He has a billion one-off feats and of items, to the point that Platinum Plate just straight up says at a certain point, okay, fuck it, we're giving you handicaps. Because these episodes are getting really boring really fast, because you have everything. It was a parody. The idea of Plate Chronicles was it was a parody of adventure series that had gone on too long, to the point that they had a billion random feats. And he was intentionally meant to make fun of power scaling, and in issue 197, Superman rewrote reality with a magic book. And it never said he got rid of it, so therefore he can rewrite reality. It's kind of meant to make fun of stuff like that, where it's like, what if that was true? What if there was a character who just had all these random fucking gag items and all this shit that only worked once and is forgotten about plot-wise? And we just treated that as fact for the series moving forward. And it would have ended up spiraling out of control, and we would have ended up seeing a little bit of Platinum B, the parallel universe to A. And originally, the premise of B was just that it was, like, kind of a remixed cast of characters. So, like, we would have met Silverplate, which would have been Goldplate. Goldplate has an older brother named Copperplate. And Copper... And the idea is Silverplate would have been the alternate universe version of Copperplate. There was a few different ideas. I went with, like, another... There was this whole fucking bit. And it pretty much got abandoned because I realized it was really stupid. There's a reason I didn't end up pursuing this series, even though I want to do it at some point, because I think the bit itself is still funny and engaging enough that I can work with it. I just need more experience writing to make it not suck. That was the big revelation for me. Is that I realized, okay, this idea can be good. I just need to be good at writing before I try it. How many games have you finished so far? I have technically finished no games in terms of like 100%ing gold on every course. This is the game I would say this and 64 are the ones I'm closest to. But once I beat... I want to beat this one on this particular course in gold before I move on to Double Dash. God damn it, I hate the coin system in this game. It's pissed me off the more I've played it. The fact that I cannot steal coins from anyone, they can steal coins from me, and I get punished for touching anyone, and I can be stun locked. And I can't dodge the attacks because I'm spinning out. It sucks. I wonder what characters people speedrun this game with. Like, what's considered the best character for this? Because I've been playing Donkey Kong a lot, and I've not been having great success with any of the other characters. But I'm wondering if there is, like, a better character, you know? God, and I hate that the lava... It feels like I should be immune to lava with the star. Just because that's, I don't know, instinctive Mario to me. Which I don't even know if that's usually the case. I don't think the star makes you immune to lava normally in Mario. I just assume I have the star, I should be indestructible. Because it's not like a lava pit. I'm not seeing myself sink into it, you know? It's a fucking square in the ground. Because of Mode 7. And this entire attempt is basically wasted. Okay, whatever, I'm gonna quit on this attempt because I need better stuff. I've been toying with, as a concept, how do you represent a faster than light ability in fiction? Because that's the thing, you always see that thrown around with, like, this character's faster than light, or whatever, in power scaling, but also, like, media or whatever. But I'm like, what is... You can't visualize that. You can't see something faster than light. And also, just moving that fast, unless you're the Flash, who has a built-in explanation for how he cannot destroy reality with his speed. You know... I do not like Bowser controls.
What the fuck? I haven't even given Toad a shot. I haven't really thought about the fact that he has... I don't get why it's called speed, because I'm pretty sure the stat is acceleration in this game. Let's give Toad a shot. I don't know how he controls. I think I've tried every character at least once. Can I actually drift in this game with Toad? This is really weird going from Donkey Kong to Toad. Okay, so yeah, his drift ends when I press the stop drifting button. But I feel so slow as him now. I hate that this stat was called speed, because it's clearly not. Like, look how much I'm lagging behind. And I know some of this is my fault. But holy shit, I cannot. Oh, come the fuck on, man. This is 150. Okay, so I don't think Toad's the answer. To be honest, I don't think switching characters itself is the answer. I think I just need to be playing better and concentrating more. I mean, I can make that turn without stopping, so it's better in that specific regard. But, fuck, look at that. Like... Yeah. So, the visual I came up with is... The faster than light action is drawn in pure black and white line art, like inverted colors. And then the colored line art and colored character or whatever moves to where the black and white one after the attack is done, is how I've thought of visualizing it. And then the sound effect plays because you're moving that fast. Okay, I think BK was the right pick. I think he has the speed I need and the control. I'm gonna just focus on this one. I'm just gonna shut up for a bit and try and play a while so we can move on to a better game. Just in case anyone's new to the stream and asking, I am not muted.
I am just playing the best goddamn super circuit of my life. God damn it. That's it. That's run dead. Oh. Ugh. Can I beat double dash that drifting? Probably not. I just want to be done with this game. Okay. Controller ASMR. Yeah, we're just gonna have to put up with that for a bit. Alright. Like I said, I just want to be done with it. What are your thoughts on Hit Track Broken Beer? Not that bad when you're just concentrating and trying to play it. And there's no shenanigans of it. But trying to explain the dichotomy of the FNAF novels while playing it, very difficult. God damn it, I thought I hooked around it. Too sharp, too sharp, too sharp. It's still possible. It's still possible. I swear all of these emulated games are haunted. Can I get an item? Actually, there's something weirdly beneficial about getting 5th place here. No, I'll finish it out. If the finish line's right there. Okay.
I'm intentionally getting 5th place, so my retry puts me in 5th place the next attempt. Scheme worked. Still struggling with these turns, like... Okay, I think I have a strategy down for them. But fuck! I hate the random lava pits because it's already like, oh, it's already a hazard you have to go around and maybe jump over for skill, but then even the skill randomly punishes you just via RNG. Are you kidding me? The item I needed for a fucking comeback. All I need is 2nd place. That's good enough. That will work. Okay. It's Rainbow Road. Once again, I just need to get 2nd place. I have 2 first places. And I have a few tries left. Oh. Fuck! I cut the corner too tight. Damn it, I thought I could make that. I was getting arrogant. It's not fair. I can't slow down with the fucking star that much. fucking Wario taking all my goddamn items. Whatever. 6 plates, I'll just start there. I have 2 more attempts on this. Or 1 more attempt on this. I guess 2 more include 1. What? Hit me. What? There was nothing. And why am I at 0 coins? I was collecting coins the whole fucking time. Did the star hit me? But it wasn't on screen. I was past it. Fucking swear. This game exists to torment me. It's always the 3rd fucking lap on Rainbow Road. Both games. First game, this game, 3rd lap. Everything fucking happens at once. Time is a flat fucking circle. And I have to try again if I want fucking gold. He genuinely decided I lost. There was nothing on screen that was able to hit me. Because that was what lost me the race. I was doing fine prior. Are you fucking kidding me? I think Jigsaw. Didn't understand what he was doing. Like, his whole thing is he wanted people to value life. Value the time they had. Value what they could do with themselves. Right? That's his whole fucking claim for his torture. And it's obviously stupid, but... Let's just consider that, right? I think he was going about the wrong way. He was considering it like an excuse for, like, torture. To really hurt and maim people in, like, weirdly Greek tragedy-esque ways. I think I did it. That's all I need. I did it. That's all I needed. Playing this game was all you need. Let's see. Do I get the... I don't think I get... Oh, I gotta go through the fucking cutscene. Hold on. Okay. So remember, rule of thumb, you only need 2 first places and 2 second places. Jigsaw is hypocrite, yeah. This game is the torture. All I needed to do was lock in and concentrate. But I am only halfway through the game. Do it again, I wasn't looking. I basically will have to. It's the sad thing. God damn it, can I skip this? Okay, so... BK. Let's do a test real quick. I want to check something. So, from what I understand, you have to beat gold and then get 20 coins, or you have to get 100 total coins across a Grand Prix. That is the requirement to unlock the Retro Cup. Or Retro Courses. So, I actually did that off stream for all the prior courses, but I did that before I got gold on all of them. So I don't know what counts as what there. The other requirement is I have to finish at least 4th place. Which that part's not actually that hard. Because that's just kind of how the game works already. Now I'm going to restart this run because I actually won't get 4th place if I did it like that. But the only cup I didn't get 20 coins on was this one. Yeah, you don't need first. That's the benefit of the 100 coin run. So this one, I'm just going to kind of play... This might be what I play like Luigi or someone with a little higher control for, actually. The one problem is... that sucks about this mode is the fact that everyone can steal coins from you. God, no. I hate turning in this game. I just hate how 2D Mario controls. And I'm sure if I was a kid in like 2005 or whenever the fuck this came out, I wouldn't mind. But I am not. So you need at least 25 coins per each attempt, more or less, to get the average, 4 cups, 100 coins across all of them. 25 per each will kind of get you there. Obviously, if you can get more, that's better, because it's better leeway. So that means I can get less. And this is where I was talking about where I'm not really worried about the placing requirement, because just playing consistently with good control actually does get you near first place a lot. Like, the skill required to hit all the coins is usually about the same for getting all the for getting near first place. Shut up, French Mario. French Luigi. Kind of wish he still had a really distinct voice. He's he has a distinct voice. You can, it is possible to not confuse the two. Based on sound alone, you know which one's talking. But yeah, I don't have to play perfectly is the point. I think the Steel War storyline is really underrated, honestly. I think it's got a lot of cool stuff going on in it. I think it's just... I think the worst thing about the Steel War storyline, how do I hit those? Is it started itself in a really weird order. That was a little too... I guess the term I would use is dramatic for its own good. Like, it starts off with the introduction of Glitch Trap instead of the introduction of the Mimic. And that completely, like, colors the direction you think it's going a little too much. God damn it. That wouldn't bother me as much as if I didn't need the fucking coins. This might be the one I have to, like, cut coins out of almost, like, because goddamn, they bump into me so much. There's so many pitfalls where I can lose coins.
I really want to make a video that just explains in detail why I think the Steel Wool storyline is actually overall really cool. It's a, in fact, I would argue, well, I don't think it's better than the original arc. I think it is a more interesting story on a surface level than the original arc is. In terms of the themes at play, the characters, who they are, and why. I might even argue it is, if it was explained better, it would have been the better story. If it was executed better. There's a difference between the pen and paper version of a story. I need to retry that anyway. I'm not going to say I've solved the Steel Wool storyline, but I've had a sense of it. I put a lot of it together, and I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's pretty close to what the intended bit is with it. In fact, maybe that's the video I come back with, because I've been trying to figure out what topic I pick to, like, come back to YouTube with properly for the... Oh, is there a shortcut thing over there I haven't been using? Okay, now I just need to not fuck up. I basically just need defensive items from here on out. I'm not even gonna go for those coins. I need to actually decently play now without being stopped. And the coins are kind of irrelevant to that. I'm actually going to completely keep these items. But yeah, I think someday I'll explain this, but I think there's a lot of really cool concepts in the Steel Wool arc. And I think if I execute the video as well as I have it in my head, I think people will respect it a lot more too. I think there's a lot that's really interesting with it. And I think there's just a lot that was explained very weirdly. I can't believe I got first place on that. That course feels really all or nothing. I even have kind of a theory. It's not going to be in the like security breach arc explained topic, but it's a theory that I think would explain what the hell was going on with Burn Trap, because I see that conversation bouncing around in chat a bit. It's not enough that it disrupts me and causes me to spin out. It's the fact that it's delayed and spins me out and takes coins. I think that's really dumb. God damn it. This is good enough. I got a lot of coins on the prior two tracks. I just need to not finish last. Or I just need to not finish fourth. I have a whole other lap to do that. I also will think the most contentious thing people were debating and getting really heated, not heated about, but really like picky about theorizing wise, might not actually have mattered in the end. Which is, you know, everyone was debating like whether Gregory actually dropped the elevator or the Mimic did it. I'd argue the Mimic has no real motive to do it, because it wants to get out, and if the elevator's been broken this whole time,
I don't see how that would allow it to get out. Or if it broke the elevator, I don't see how that would allow the Mimic to get out. It seems kind of counterproductive. Okay, so I do have to try and get like about 25-ish on this one still, because I didn't get as many on the last course, but I might be able to get by with only about 20. I'll just get as many as I can and beat it. I will say, I think stress is half the challenge of the gold runs. Because now that I'm just playing it relaxed with just like the vague attempt to try and beat it, and focusing almost entirely on control. That's dumb. I shouldn't take those. Those take me away from coins. I do think if I get below 20, I'm at risk of not getting enough. And I got like 40 that first attempt, so I think I'm actually pretty decently in the clear now that I think about it, but I still can't score too low. I have enough. I refuse to believe that I might not have enough. There we go. But yeah, but Mandalore, the Tistic, explained it pretty well in chat. I think, I do think what whatchamacallit, Help Wanted 2 is implying is that the Scooper ending is the canon one anyway, so the other one doesn't matter too much because Cassie won't remember it because it's not the ending that we're going with. And in general, sometimes FNAF prefers the, not always, but sometimes FNAF prefers the harder to get ending to be the canon one. Sister Location's kind of the only exception. But if you think about, like, Help Wanted 2, or Help Wanted 1, getting all the tapes is the real end, is more or less the real ending. It's the one that explains it the most. And getting the Vanny Mask is difficult, and that's kind of the real ending of Curse of Dread Bear. Yeah, Sister Location is the only real exception to that formula. Okay, let's see what's unlocked now. Okay, hey! We have them. So it does, so you don't, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. That's cool. So let's try it out. Let's just try. I don't have an actual GBA, obviously, but this is an emulator, but old enemies. Such, I would say nostalgia, but it's just suffering. It's just hate. So in theory, if you got 100 coins and gold, you would 100% these first try. I'm not going for that. I'm just thinking out loud.
But I know these fucking courses. I know these fucking courses. Oh, and there's still 5 laps. Those bastards. Those fucking freaks. Whatever, second place. I wouldn't even argue Cassie couldn't survive the elevator falling. Because it's, you know, FNAF's a little weird about stuff sometimes where I'm like, how did you... Whatever. But I do agree with the general concept that I don't think the elevator ending is going to be the one we're moving forward with. I remember these like it was yesterday, but it was actually 2 days ago. I have gold on all of you fuckers. God damn it. God damn it. Oh, I hope that didn't unplug my controller. I accidentally kicked the cord, basically. Come on, let me turn. That is the thing I cannot, like, illustrate enough. Is how fucked the turning is. Well, okay, so this is a change they've outright made to this course. That's not how that jump worked before. It put you over it before. So now it just sends you into a pit. They actually, they like, straight up fuck that up. Are you kidding me? I like how Lakitu still shows you losing 2 coins. Like, just like an extra fuck you. Why did I go left? I was looking right, I was accelerating right, and it launched. Okay, why am I... Let me just give it another chance at it. Just from scratch. I'm beating them. I want to be fucking done with this game. This game is not as evil as the first one, but... Fuck, it is not kind. I want to play Double Dash, and I want to play as little 2D Mario on the later streams as possible. Double Dash will have its own bullshit. I know it will. That's how these games work. It's weird to hear this song coming out of the... Oh, god damn it, my microphone. It's weird to hear this song coming out of the GBA sound font. Holy shit, I can kind of hop over those now. That's funny. Whatever. Now I'm using a controller. I'm using a PS5 controller. I can do this. I believe. I'm just... I just need to not get, like, bullshit right off the start, you know? I just need, like, one moment where I can be, like, playing the course the way it's intended to be played. I don't get why I can jump over those sometimes.
and other times I sink like a brick. That feels really inconsistent physics-wise. I guess it's not physics, it's just trying to look like physics. What the fuck is happening? Why am I, like... What the fuck? This wasn't like this before. Why am I getting slowed down off-road when I have the star? It's not how the star works. Shouldn't be. I got second place in this the first fucking time. What the fuck? Oh, if I can... This makes me realize how much of the prior game's suffering was genuinely caused by the level design. Because this game does control better than the first one, slightly. They just did the same concepts better. But, like, this is just dumb and not fun. And half of the suffering is just caused by the way they fucking skewed these levels. Why can I jump on these sometimes but not others? I don't get it. I hate it. I hate not only jank, but when it's really inconsistent jank that feels like it should be. And I don't get why sometimes I completely slip around on this level and other times I can barely turn. I know how Donkey Kong controls. He's worse than usual in this, though. He's like... there is something off that I was not feeling on the other courses. Are there any video game stories you feel like insist upon themselves a bit too much for you? I think... Well, I actually don't dislike Detroit Become Human. It is sort of the game that embodies the concept of insist upon itself. Like, I could feel the writing room being like, and this is cinema, like, with every fucking other scene they were writing. And like I said, I actually don't mind Detroit Become Human. I actually like it a decent bit, more than a lot of people who don't like it. Because there are some people who are like, it's a stupid metaphor and it doesn't do its concept justice or whatever the fuck, and I don't really agree with that. But I can say, it is definitely a game that insists upon itself. I'm trying to think of, like, a game where I'm like, this is a bit much. To the point where it, like, actually detracts from my ability to enjoy it. There's a reverse example of this, though, which is Everything. The game Everything that gets weirdly... Yeah, so what the phrase "it insists upon itself" means, it's trying to be a higher form of art than it really is. Or more or less that's what it's trying, that's what that phrase is trying to, like, loosely mean. So, like, when, in the cliche meme that, you know, Peter from Family Guy is like, I did not care for the Godfather. It insists upon itself. That bit was referring to Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy's, his film teacher was talking about The Sound of Music, which, for context, is Seth MacFarlane's favorite film, or at least was at the time. And the critique of that movie. Why do I ever go for that rant? It's there's something so instinctual because I've been trained on the prior game that this track is from to take that ramp. The ramp is good. The ramp is your friend. Why is the ramp bad now? Why is the ramp just to kill you? Because unless you're like perfectly poised away from the ramp, it kills you. Maybe this is a controversial take, but I think the movie that I feel struggles with this premise is, or this problem is, Man of Steel compared to Christopher Reeve's Superman, or really most Superman that I consider like good on their own merit. Um, I, I, I don't even hate Man of Steel either. I just think that it does kind of have that like quality of it, where it's like it feels like it can't just let itself be a good movie. It has to try and be maybe not the best movie, but it has to be like it wants to be the most profound version of Superman. Is how it feels when I watch it. I don't know if it really was trying to be that, but it has that energy. Oh, okay. There is an anti-spin-out mechanic. God damn it. Ugh. Oh yeah, I would say almost every like Superman animated series has been weirdly good to my knowledge. Even Super Friends, which is kind of not a super. I mean, it's a Justice League, but it kind of counts on this topic. Has, and I do mean series, not. There are some DC animated universe movies that I think kind of fuck them up a little bit. I like Injustice, weirdly, though I don't think it's an amazing concept of Superman. Though the animated version handles it decently well, where it's Superman going to extremes for more recent problems. You know, him finally feeling the temptation of it all. I like that concept. It's executed a little harshly, but dude, why was it? I'm going insane. It feels like on this particular course, the physics just randomize themselves. But Injustice show, or not show, movie. Um, and I feel like several of Zack Snyder's DC projects have had that problem of like insist upon itself also. To varying degrees. And sometimes it weirdly works. I do prefer this. If I had to pick a cut of the two versions of Justice League, I actually do prefer the Snyder cut. But it's also kind of an unfair comparison, in my opinion, because the Snyder cut's so goddamn long that it has so much time to flesh out these ideas that it's like, if there was a theatrical version of this cut, like, you know, because they always cut down, that's why there are director's cut or extended cut versions. It's because theaters don't want movies that long. And executives don't want movies that long. So if it was the same runtime, just with all the different plot beats added in or accounted for, I don't think it actually would have been that much better than the Josh Whedon cut. Yeah, I guess to talk about my own project a little bit more on the topic of like the evil Superman thing. I, since one of my projects I've been toying with for ages that I'll probably get back to writing more frequently in my downtime at work is called Rose City Mythos, and it's superhero story set in Portland. The easiest way to describe it is it's kind of X-Men set in Portland is kind of, I guess, how I would explain it. But there's a less of a fucking... It's how I would describe it. But there's not an they're not like a team. It's just a bunch of sort of mutant humans in Portland doing their best, or worse in some cases. But I'm like, okay, do I do a Superman equivalent, or do I just not have that trope? And what I decided I wanted to do is, I wanted to do... Oh my fucking god, I hate the hit detection on it. I could describe endlessly what the things I hate about these 2D Mario carts. The hit detection is the biggest one, because Mode 7 cannot handle the concept of, oh, you were mostly on track. It is kind of all or nothing, it feels like. And that feels really punishing. Like, get your hand off the A button after you do a boost, you can control yourself way better. I've noticed, but it's not easy timing. Like, it's kind of an easier said than done topic, of course, because the time you get a boost so rarely in this game that when you realize you suddenly get a boost, you're just dead if it's detrimental, or you've already gotten the success off of it because it was helpful. They last so briefly, they happen so fucking randomly in this game, it feels like. Because I didn't even know there was a quick start bonus on Lakitu. I would have been trying to go for that the whole fucking time if I knew that was a mechanic in the game. Why? I was thinking about, like, do I even do a Superman equivalent, or do I save it for, like, another area of the world? What I decided as a kind of compromise is, he's a Superman... Your instinct is to compare him to Superman, but he really isn't. Because he's, the big, kind of flowy, strong guy with a cape. But he's weirdly more of an Iron Man kind of figure. Is the more actual, like, accurate comparison to him. Named Overhead. I'm just going to jump over every ramp on this course. I think that the goal of just don't fall off even once, how you can't correct for it. It's too narrow. If I stayed the other direction, I would have been bumped off, and I didn't even have the ability to stay the other direction. What's the point of any fucking item on this course? When it all just sends you... If I get a shell, it will bounce back and hit me. If I get the red shell, it won't fucking cut the corner correctly because its pathing isn't good enough. If I get the mushroom, it will send me off course or into a wall, which I'll bounce and then lose speed. Or lose control. I don't ever get the blue shell in this game. It happens once in a blue fucking moon. The star makes me faster, which makes me harder to control, which means I lose speed. Sometimes it makes me better. But then it launches me into a fucking pit because I didn't have time to react. Every item sucks on this level. Because this level is just bad. I don't even... What the fuck is the point of having the old shortcut there? I just realized that. You can't use it. There's no ramp there, because there's no fucking feather. You know what I'm talking about? I'm guaranteed to hit a fucking wall. And I'd stop on a dime if I ever... Break! Exactly. You fucking can't commit to any strategy, it feels like. The whole use red shell mines thing sounds like a great premise. The problem is I'd never get to first place. Okay, I'm thinking for this particular challenge, we bring back the old champ. Because I can't get past that goddamn ghost pier. And I can't even... I fucking hate... I'm gonna leave it at there. I just want to be able to finish these goddamn courses at this point. I'm more just upset the fact that, like, yeah, I can't go gold, whatever, but I can't even practice these. They're so fucking unforgiving. And I know these courses, it's not even like I don't have game sense for where's what, it's just... Can I just drift without hopping? So fucking hard to turn. Look at that. Look how drunk I'm going because I can't correct. And I can't hop in time because I'm tapping it, but there's like, I don't know if there's just lag or just what. I can't. But don't you need to unlock the things for quick runs? I don't get how these characters are written stat-wise. by the way. Like, the stat screen explains nothing, I'm convinced, because Yoshi did not have this bad of handling last game, I swear. Or at least I got used to it. Who has good handling? Because the stat screen does not explain that. So I have no clue what character stats are without just looking them up. Which itself is an evil fucking decision. But here's why I don't... Doesn't fucking matter who I pick, sure. Luigi. No, yeah, no, I'm fucking right. Well, I need to practice the Grand Prix. When I said I couldn't practice, I wasn't talking about individual courses. I meant I can't practice the other cups to save them for another stream. Because I haven't unlocked them. That's what I mean is the problem. I guess I wasn't clear about that. So far fucking ahead. Like, look how miles ahead Toad is. In terms of handling, Peach and DK, Mario and Wario, Luigi, Bowser, Toad, Yoshi. Why? Why is it organized that way? Yeah, I don't care about stars, whatever those are. My goal, unless those contribute to completion of the game, where you can't get cups without them, then I do not care about, like, perfecting my stats. That's not the goal of the series. I've officially backtracked to not being entirely sure. Why? I've completely gone full circle with this game where I do not get... So I was fucking playing the right character anyway. What? No, no! I think I actually might start hating this game more than the first one. The first one's short. It's like egregiously dumb, and I hate more about it. But I don't have to suffer as long. I'm hearing very conflicting things about handling. What even is handling? I don't understand what it is anymore. Because I thought I was clear, but it sounds like... So, is 1 out of 5 handling good or bad? Like, because I read in chat... Here, let me read this exactly as it was explained. In terms of handling, it goes Peach and DK, Bowser and Wario, or Mario and Wario, Luigi and Bowser, Toad, then Yoshi. Greater than should mean Peach and DK have the best handling. But I'm also hearing that Luigi and Yoshi have 5 out of 5 handling. And they're in the middle of the prior list with Yoshi at the end. I'm seeing 2 different lists.
How well you handle games BS. I'm hearing 2 completely different explanations of stats that cannot coexist. Why does it never hit the CPUs? Whatever, second place is fine. I don't see the link in chat. You can't put links in the chat. Oh, well, don't put information saying this character has these stats in the chat as a gag. That doesn't make... There's no funny in that. You're just basically lying. I'm also not sure how I drift in anymore in this game. I thought I understood. But it now feels like I'm fucking up so often I can't be right. How do you turn? Does not make sense. I can't completely let go of the gas sometimes because I'll just never make it back to first. Because if I'm that slow, it will do the stupid dead stop thing. And then I'm on a fucking... Because I was under the impression you hold right, then left to cancel the momentum of the drift, the slippery part. Or whatever direction you're going. Oh, there's a Metroid manga. Oh. I'm very confused what the fuck people are talking about. People are not explaining information great, at least from my point of view. Like, I'm having a lot of trouble telling what people are trying to say. I don't know why I ever thought the correct answer was anything other than DK. I gaslit myself into thinking that maybe there was a better character for the job. But the ape has fucking spoken. My favorite. It looks better in this game, though. I wonder if I can see coins in this version. I can. It's a miracle. I can also kind of make the turns. And they removed the thwomps? There are thwomps in this game, though. Did they just not want to put the sprites in of the... Huh. That's a really weird change. They've been pretty faithful other than that. That's what I'm talking about, where the bumping mechanic's terrible. Because, yeah, I didn't get bumped there, but it was that or get bumped. It was either I try to cut that corner and die, or I get bumped off the map. Actually, this is not a faithful Rainbow Road. Like, yes, the layout's technically the same. But I can make the turns just by turning and slowing down a bit. That's wrong. It more just shows how this game controls so much better than Super Mario Kart does. But I am starting to miss Super Mario Kart's drift, weirdly enough, because I felt like I understood that one a bit more. God damn it. The fucking impenetrable wall that this game operates under. The barrier of 50 fucking CPUs in your path that you cannot do anything about. How am I supposed to make the turn if the CPUs prevent me from making the turn? I was braking and I can't make that turn. If I finish this in any place, any of them, that is not 8th. So I can make the turn there, make the turn there. I can make the turn here. I can make the turn there. So why can I not make the turn there? Why? Why is that one different? Is it just too thin? Are these a different... They are. That's why I can make the turn. Because this part is thinner. But... No, wait, is it? I can't tell. I can't tell why I can and cannot make the turn sometimes. Because I feel like I'm doing the exact same thing. I feel like I'm going insane. Fuck you. Do I game over here? Okay, I have another try.
play until like game over, I guess. Just because I don't want to waste the prior runs that went into this. Why did that not go behind me when I pressed behind me? And on the one hand, this game recognized a lot of dumb ideas from Mario 64 and luckily did not keep them. Like the stupid spin-out mechanic where you can waggle too much and be spun out. They've seemed to completely ditch that. Thankfully. I'm really glad that was removed. But on the other hand, they seem to have like kept some of the worst decisions as well. What am I supposed to do? You can't negate it. It just torments you. Okay. No, and I've lost. I was doing fine. I fucking hate the spin out. The stupid the idea that you are not only punished. Oh yeah, and CPUs are always perfect. They almost never, like they sometimes do, but you are forced to fuck up because of their bumping. The fact that they launch you a billion miles per hour away. If they touch you, if they look at you, and they also slow down your acceleration because they take your coins, and then when they take enough coins, you get spun out, and then Lakitu fucking takes even more coins, and then he causes you to spin out for some fucking reason. I don't know why. It's not enough that Lakitu has to reset, and the fact that you have to be put in the line of fire of everyone else who can bump you off again, to cause you to Lakitu reset again, to causing you to be stun locked. It's not enough for that. No. Lakitu also has to punish you even more by making it so if you try to accelerate quickly and make a comeback because you're desperate and angry, you fucking get punished even more because you get slowed down because you held a little too long. You know, the only real advantage of the star... Why can't I turn? And I have the death button now. If I use this item, it kills me. Behold. Okay, I kind of got to use it there. But I'm down to 1 coin. And I can't get coins because this game doesn't... It's terrible hitbox registration for them. Why did I get 2 of those but not the last one? Why did I go off the edge there? I'm holding left as much as I can on low speed, and I even braked before it. I don't believe that Yoshi and Mario has the best handling. Or Yoshi has the best handling. It did not feel that way. It felt terrible. Alright. Well, purely to avoid wasting time on the prior laps. This is it. I played fucking perfectly last lap and it still wasn't enough. I'm gonna play one attempt at Yoshi again. Because I don't think this is correct. I mean, maybe it is statistically, like maybe in the game's code it is, but I don't agree that he controls better. It's not, the scanline filter does not distract me. It makes it look, it actually helps me understand where things are a little bit better because of the pixelization. This game looks not good without the scanline filter, in my opinion. Because this is the way it's meant to look. You have to remember that with these games. Like, they are meant to be viewed this way. This was made to be on the Game Boy Advance, which has scan lines. It has a dot matrix fucking screen. Why did that shell go that way? She's right there. Why is the red shell not hitting the people in front of me? Did they break it? Yes, they have scan lines. They're not traditional scan lines. This is and this is not a traditional. Let me explain this fucking shit. Handheld. They have filters for handhelds. I am using the LCD handheld. This is what it's supposed to look like. I have used a Game Boy Advance. This is what it looks like. It may not be, when I say scan lines, I don't mean literal fucking scan lines. But no, you're not correct. The game is not meant to look, to be completely unfiltered. It's not meant to look like a modern fucking OLED screen. Because no, the drift still sucks. The drift still sends me flying sometimes. It at least is not as bad as with Donkey Kong, but it still, like, does not control recognizably good, and I'm not getting any mini turbos off my drifts, and I still get bumped by people, because I'm an even lighter character. There's genuinely no winning with this game. Every item's a mistake. I think that's the other thing, is like the items do not feel good in this game, or the first game. 64, they feel like alright. But this game, they're not good. It is possible, yeah, that handling, while he may have the highest stat in handling, it doesn't necessarily mean handling is what's great. Like, for example, it's possible that I might just not like high handling characters. Okay, I can kind of drift around that corner. So he might be, you know, it might be worth Yoshi. Just for this course, where I can drift around those corners a little bit better. Even if I don't actually prefer Yoshi's controls usually. Still bullshit because I'm not fast. I'm so slow in this goddamn game. If I'm, it's one of those, like, the trade-off feels so immense where I feel like I can't win. It was the problem I was running into with the prior game, where it felt like there was like no balance that felt right. It was like one sin or the other. Why am I not... I swear, sometimes it just feels random when I turn. Why did I go right there when I was mashing left and I hit right once to try and straighten out? But what it actually did was not... Why? I don't know if it's... hopefully it's audible that I'm hitting the right bumper in those moments. There was several frames where I've hit that bumper and it should have registered what I wanted to do. But it does not... Is there a delay? Like, I don't get it. And why am I not getting mini turbos anymore? I swear I'm doing the same... Okay, there, I fucking got one and it killed me. PlayStation, because I don't fucking get a choice. There's no controllers better for this. Because I don't... Or, correction, there are better controllers for this. I don't have them. I'm just gonna shut up and play for a bit. What does handling correlate to? If handling is not handling the character or the cart, what does it mean? I'm starting to think that the only real answer is just to try every character. That's fucking weird. Mario. No! I hate that it doesn't remember what track you were actually on if you were on extra tracks. Duh. Okay, so it just means how sharp you control. Toad. I tried him, I didn't really get great results. I'm gonna try Mario because I haven't played a lot of him. Let's try Toad again after this, just for the sake of it. They should have just... I know it's like a huge profitable console, and it would have been really... Probably not a good idea financially to skip making a portable Mario Kart at this point in time. Like, that probably just wasn't a feasible option. I'm not using DualShock 3. I'm using PS5. The problem is, it's really hard to tell like, how good a character really is sometimes in this because there's so much bullshit that's irrespective of your attempts. It feels like. Like, that, I had no choice. You might think, oh, just go left. But then I get bumped off by a fucking driver, and then I lose a coin too. So in that interaction, I net lose 3 coins. Or I hope that I magically do not hit the person in question. It was just random chance that they happened to fucking be there. And that one I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I guess I could have slowed down more. I hate the random quick start like mechanic on Lakitu. I just tapped right to get coins. I'm trying not to complain because I think I'm playing worse when I complain. But it's like so instinctual for me. You know? It's like I want to vent the frustration I'm feeling some way. But I feel bad about it. I shouldn't be complaining this much because it's fucking contributing nothing. There are people who are all kinds of experts on this game. And, you know, they probably can fucking 100% this every time with blindfolded, practically. So it's like, it's... You know, I know it's not... I know it's not entirely the game's fault. I mean, okay, some of the shit is. I can't... That's... I don't get how I'm supposed to make that corner without slowing down. I think Mario might have to be the go-to from here on out. I would so love if it didn't feel like my inputs had random fucking actions attached to them. And I know they aren't, but sometimes it feels like one thing that would get me to turn is completely fine and other times it isn't. Like, without breaking, how am I... And I fucking hate the stupid sliding on this map because it maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Let me try something. Like, let me try thinking of the controls a different way.
fucking Wario! He's done that like twice now. He's fucking bumped me off in the same place. No, okay, so I can't let off the gas. That's also wrong. I guess I have to feather it? I have to feather the gas there? Okay, I guess that's the right answer. That does not feel good, but but it's working. That feels bad. That feels really weird and twitchy. Jump! Go the direction I'm pointing. I think that's the other thing, is like, that makes us feel like particularly inconsistent. Is that sometimes in later Mario Karts they're really good about making it clear that the direction you're looking is the direction you go. Like how cars work. When I drift in one turn, sometimes I start the steer in the opposite direction, then immediately slam drift on the turn. I'll try that. I don't think that whatever. I'll just take the advice of someone who knows this game. Fucking what? I don't. No, that's actually making. Hold on. No, well, I haven't fallen off yet. Okay, that kind of worked there. Fucking stop! Okay, I'm not implementing that idea. I need to quit to retry anyway. I want to figure out how to actually be not terrible at this game. You know? Because it feels like I've only gotten worse at this game. I feel like the longer I play, I just do worse. Why was I not slowed down by off-terrain this time? The last time I went off-terrain, it drifted me off in a weird way and slowed me down. Why? Why did I go off that way? I love being slower than everyone. It's my fucking favorite mechanic of this game. The you just can't win mode. Because you are stuck, even if you're playing well. No mistakes. I mean, mistakes, but still. Code's not right. Code is not fast enough. I think Mario is... No! I keep instinctively thinking it will be on the thing I want for some stupid reason.
What the fuck? How did I do that? How did I do that? That was nothing. My hand didn't touch my keyboard at all. What input did that? Fuck it. We're... No. Well, maybe this is fine. I don't know. I'm just gonna play a little bit of... Just play a little bit of Double Dash real quick. I'm still not good at this game either. I'm still using the PS5 controller. I didn't switch out to my actual... So I don't know how this is gonna behave. Daisy. Culpa. Mushroom cup. Okay, that didn't work. This is laggier than it's supposed to be. What's my item button? No, okay, so that switches. What's my item button? What's my item button? Oh, wait, hold on, it's on Koopa. Okay, I got it. I have an actual GameCube controller, for context. I'm just not using it for some reason. I just want a game that, you know, feels like Mario Kart. Real quick. One thing I will say is I'm not a super big fan of how the carts are designed in this game. I know they're meant to like have 2 players and that's like their gimmick. And that's kind of a funny concept. Oh, they also had a mushroom. Yeah, that... It was still not a good run, but I don't care. Okay, so what's the timing? I'm not quite sure what this game's timing is. I'm also not sure what the point of the speed meter is on this game. Is there a mini turbo beyond blue? Oh, gold in this game. That's funky. There we go. I'm starting to get a feel for the drift. Because it's really strange going between this game and the others. also weird that, you know, it feels like I'm a mile behind. God damn it. Why am I... Why does it feel like I'm so slow? Right. Okay, hold the fuck on. I didn't mean to do that. I instinctively wanted to pause to retry the race. Because I'm used to doing that when I'm slightly confused or frustrated by something. It's a Pavlovian. It's not even like a muscle memory response. It's a Pavlovian response. I feel really slow. I'll press A around when it says start. Only game that doesn't like that. Okay. I'm a little struggling to figure out why I'm like way behind. Because it feels like I'm slow. Like, really slow for two middleweight characters. Can we get the fire? I thought the fireball was a special item. Oh, maybe maybe it's one of Bowser's items. Or is it just like the special fireball that's... See, this feels more like a reasonable... I feel like I'm being placed a little closer to where I'm actually, like, doing gameplay-wise. How did you not get hit by my fucking shell? How did I... How shall do? How what? Why am I in 7th place? Oh, I took a single fireball from Mario because it's Peach's item, or Daisy's item. Let me try something. I'm not really doing this as like an actual strategy. I just want to... Let's try this out. I just want to see if I play like a really high speed. Or is speed still acceleration and just... No, it was an acceleration stat. Oh, come on. I think my least favorite thing in general Mario Kart, in terms of the normal games that aren't dumb, it's getting hit by something when you're already stunned. I think 8's a little bit better about that, because I think you get not really invincibility frames, but I don't think you can be hit. I don't think you can start a second stun animation if you're already in one. God, this is what I'm talking about, where it's like, how do I... Bowser, get the fuck on. Okay, so this feels a little bit better. Like, the speed difference doesn't feel as apparent, but it still feels slower than I thought. Save that for a bit. Actually, what the fuck am I talking about? This I'll save. I want to use that as a comeback item if I get shelled again. See, they're faster than me. How is that possible? I'm playing the two fastest characters, and I've had nothing to slow me down. Is there, like, a thing I'm supposed to be doing beyond drifting? Is there, like, another mechanic? Because Double Dash is weird. It has all kinds of weird mechanics. But it feels like I'm just not gaining speed.
That's weird. Am I crazy on this? Is this placebo, or am I just doing my complaining shit again? Yeah, I am drifting. Okay, so... But they're fast. Why? I don't understand. I don't. Alright. It's really confusing to go from game to game because they completely change what they expect you to do each game. Like, there is no getting comfortable to a rule of thumb in these first few titles. No. I also am not 100% sure how you escape this pit thing. Because I played this game a little bit before, but I don't remember. I know you go outside on the edge, but it feels like if you're in it, you just die. No, I think I'm gonna take a break from this series for a bit, because I thought this would be a lot more fun of a series than it really has been, to be completely honest, because I'm still not really having fun yet. I'm like, maybe I just only like Mario Kart 8. Maybe I've realized I just don't like Mario Kart, is really the conclusion I'm having with this series. Because we're on the game that's supposed to be fun, and it still feels like it still feels fucked up. Like, god damn it, just drift, you stupid fucking turtle. And I'm